Disciplined investing. It isn't about star fund managers. At T. Rowe Price, it's about experienced investment teams that stay the course. It's the same way we've managed investments for over 70 years. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
iPods, video games, computers, they are some of the top items on teenagers' gift lists. In fact, 4 out of the top 5 items are tech items, and that's why we want to speak with Jim Steyer, CEO and founder of Common Sense Media. Welcome, Jim.
Great to be here.
So I want to start with this amazing statistic that teenagers these days are spending 45 hours a week fiddling with their electronics and only 17 hours a week with their families. What's up with that?
Well, that's right. Whether we like it or not, kids live in a 24/7 media environment. And think about it. The average teenager, actually the average child over the age of 8 spends about 45 hours to 50 hours per week consuming media. That's a full work week plus overtime. So they live in this dizzying media environment of iPods and cell phones and movies and video games. So as parents, as educators, all of us need to understand the content of media. We need to know what media our kids want to watch or listen to or play on the internet. And we need to be involved in it if we want to be good parents and good teachers today.
I'm sure some of us wish we could just yank those things away from them, but then we'd be public enemy number one. So let's start with video games. What's some advice for getting them some games but keeping it under control?
Well, I think the first thing you need to do as a parent is understand that video games are really popular today for kids and teens, particularly for boys. And you need to look at what the content of the game is. The title won't always tell you. Now, you can go to commonsense.com, that's the organization that I run, to find out what's in a game. But you can also look on the video game box and see some information. But the bottom line is, particularly as you get up into the T and M rated titles, there's a lot of violence in video games. And there's a lot of studies about the impact of violence on people who play video games. So you need to look at what some of those titles are. And at Common Sense, we can give you lots of recommendations about positive, good games for your kids and also what to watch out for and stay away from at the holidays.
All right, now let's talk cell phones. I have a 1-year-old baby. I understand that in another 5 or 6 years, she is going to be clamoring for a cell phone. When that happens, what do I do?
Don't give it to her. You know, this is an don't give it to her. I've got 4 kids, ages 14, 13, 10, and 3. So the rule in the Steyer household, I can't say that has to be every household, is no cell phone until you go to high school. Now, you are going to be an unpopular parent sometimes with your kids, but I think it's really important that parents think about when it's appropriate to give a child a cell phone. Because remember, as all of us adults know, it's not just a phone anymore. You can download video, you can download music, you can text message your friends. This is this device that's basically a whole new media platform. So I think parents have to think long and hard about their children's pleas for cell phones. As I said, at Common Sense, we understand that all kids and families are different. But we don't think, and I don't think personally as a dad of 4, that kids at 7 or 8 ought to be having cell phones. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are now giving their children cell phones so they can stay in touch with them. But I would urge you to just take your time on that. And remember, they can get along without cell phones. We didn't have any cell phones when we were growing up, and we're just okay. So I would really try to delay that. Now, by the time kids are in 7th or 8th grade, most of them are probably going to have cell phones. But in my personal opinion, and from a common sense perspective, I would delay that as long as you can. Because remember, it's not just a phone anymore. It's a true media platform.
All right, well, speaking of true media platforms, iPods, MP3 players, that sort of thing, they have all sorts of capabilities these days, too. It's not just playing music anymore. So what's your advice there?
Again, I mean, I think that you're likely to have your kids asking for stuff at early ages, you know, an iPod, for example, because all the other kids in school are going to have it. I think you want to look at price. I think from a standpoint of a consumer watch on something like this, you want to sort of price things like that out. You want to know the capabilities too. Again, as a parent, I want to know what my kids are able to download on iTunes. Is it video? Is it music? And you got to go on yourself. I mean, one of the biggest tips that I can give to you as a parent, and that we tell people at Common Sense Media all the time, is go on iTunes with your kids. Go on their favorite websites. Listen to their music with them. So if they say they want to download the latest song by 50 Cent, listen to the song by 50 Cent, and then you decide if that's appropriate for your kid. Because they're going to want stuff that you might not necessarily think is age appropriate. Again, you can go to commonsense.com and see all sorts of information about the latest music that your kids and teens are going to want. But I think that you have to be an involved parent today if you want to be both a good holiday shopper, but also just a good parent who limits some of the kinds of media that your kids are exposed to.
Good things just got better. Introducing an all-new third hour of Good Morning America.
Welcome to Good Morning America Now.
Good Morning America Now. Good Morning America Now.
On ABC News Now.
To find out how to get Good Morning America Now, just go to abcnewsnow.com.